Hello, everybody. Now, you might be looking at my getup and saying, man, have you lost your damn mind? Has all the anime that you've watched, or manga, or all the things on your channel just made you lose your mind? Well, no. Well, maybe yes. but this is actually Luffy's getup, I guess, from Whole Cake. Obviously, it's not, like, you know, this is as close as I can get to it. This is that straw hat that I was talking to you about in one of the videos, I think, one of the movie reviews I mentioned it. And then you can see in some of my other videos I've had it hang up. And I'll just briefly say before I get into part one of Whole Cake that I wasn't really expecting this hat in the first place. It was all it's a long story, but it's an interesting one. I'll make a whole video about it, but the long story short is that I didn't order it, and it was a fraudulent thing that somebody ordered, sent to me, and the bank still hasn't really processed any of this. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty fresh, but I guess I got a straw hat conveniently out of it. And the reason why this white thing is on the top is, of course, because when Luffy first gets a whole cake during an Emperor's land, a smart strategy is that he has this kind of thing on the top of his hat that, like, it looks like a white like a cream thing, and it looks similar. And Pedro, all of them have it, so that's basically what I'm going for. Is the first part when he fights Cracker look. But anyways, that out of the way, Whole Cake Island is by far one of the best arcs in the entire series. And the reason why is it's just so emotional, like emotionally impactful, and beautifully written and done. And I think it's underrated as an arc. I think a lot of people hate it. Apparently, for the end, um, I started watching the anime like on a weekly basis in about April, basically after the whole Snake Man thing. Because, like I said a long time ago in my One Piece reviews, I had already seen Snake Man, right? I actually already saw like at least a good portion of the Katakuri versus Luffy fight. So during that time, like I already knew what was going to happen and all that stuff. So I was like, well, okay, I'll watch the anime, like the Katakuri and Luffy parts, because I'm not gonna understand the other parts anyways. So anyways, that's what I ended up doing. And so I could kind of see where this ending of Whole Cake is going to go, because I haven't actually read it yet, but just watching it was just wow. Just watching the previews or whatever it was just, it looked terrible. Like the pacing was just taking forever. The Katakuri fight was taking forever compared to what I saw, that 29-minute video for the manga. But beyond that, though, oh my god, like this arc in the beginning was something else. Like, I think it does start to teeter off after we see the whole cake, the Big Mom flashback, and that's where I'll end it. I'll do the start from the whole cake, and I'll do right to the tea party, and then we'll do the tea party to onward. So yeah, it's actually, like, I would say 9 out of 10 material. Like, it's phenomenal at times. Like, I'm actually surprised at how much I actually cared about Sanji's backstory, even though we already got a backstory. It's interesting, the Zeph part of the story. And when you look at the Reddit posts from back then, or like the discussion, people were very, very excited about it and very interested in these chapters that came out. And when he gets to Whole Cake, oh my gosh, like, well, first he goes to the Chocolate Island. So, right, they're there to get Sanji back. This was after Zoe. Sanji, like, put himself ahead of the crew, all that stuff, whatever. So then we first meet the like, first off, they couldn't even cook. They, like, burned, like, Luffy burns down the kitchen at one point, and then, like, he eats, like, the poison, and like, that was weird. Like, I'm not really sure what the poison affected him, but it was just plot for Reiju to just come in and be like, saving him. So we get introduced to that character that way, and Reiju is a fan. I love Reiju. She was a great sister, and we don't really get to see a whole lot of shonen sisters that are good, not evil. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that part. And then we get Yanji, and he was the Green Witch one, or Green Wrench one, and he had, like, that mechanical arm. And so we get introduced to those two siblings, and then later, a few chapters later, we get introduced to Ichiji and Can't remember the other guy's name. It doesn't matter. He's the blue guy. You know, the blue light, the cool blue lightning. I think that's what his code name was. And then and then Ichiji, of course, was sparkling, exploding sparkling or something sparkling. His power seemed weird. Like for him being like the strongest of the brothers. Like what? Like sparkling. I was surprised we didn't get to see a whole lot of Sanji's mom, but I maybe like she'll come in later, or like that'll actually be explained because it was very, very, very vague. Like it was like, oh yeah, she sacrificed herself like in the pregnancy to make she wanted all the kids not to be genetic monsters because and then we get introduced to the dad, the king of Germa, and it's pretty interesting how Germa is a moving kingdom, so that's a very different concept. And Germa is apparently evil, and we get introduced to all that, all great stuff. It just really builds. It just keeps building and building and building, and like there's a war, you could just feel there was a war coming. And so all the whole Vinsmoke thing, and then he gets these shackles put on him, kind of like Robin. His part of the story is very similar to Robin and Innie's Lobby, but it's still it's good. I think it's good in its own way. So his hands will blow up because he's a chef, and he said that like these are my important things. I'm not really sure why he told Judge that, but there's that. And they also are holding Zeph, his like father figure, captive, which is pretty crazy because like even Zoro, like he has some, like they all have somebody. Like it's like if Nami got Gizo and her sister, her surrogate sister, or if Zoro even had his dojo master, or if Usopp had what is her name, Kaya. Like if they had all those people captive, like like they wouldn't want to betray the Straw Hats, but they like. And then we get to this point where Sanji kind of has to make that decision, right? When the whole Luffy speech, which is one of the best scenes ever I've seen. But yeah, it's just a really crazy build up, right? We're building up, we're building up. There's like a lot of characterization, and then we see Sanji's backstory, and it's kind of weird. I wasn't feeling Law's backstory. I really felt sorry for him. Like I just wanted to give this kid a hug, but for Sanji, man, like I don't know if it's because he looks similar to how I've looked before, or if it's the fact that I could really relate to like you know being kind of judged with other people, like, oh well, these other kids are a lot better than you, that kind of thing, or whatever, because I was always like underachieving, I had dyslexia and stuff, so like stuff like that. So it makes a lot of sense that like I would like really like signal in on that, but like man, like I wasn't expecting his backstory to be so sad. Like they even faked his own death and then put this like cage thing on him. Like I was like, whoa, I wasn't like wow. And then his brothers were just beating up on him, and then Reiju's like, no, 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 like we had to do that. And so he gets out of there because when they're going on the red line, and his father didn't even care. He's like, yeah, you're a terrible experiment that's gone wrong, blah blah blah. Like man, like that's messed up. Like at first he was like, and he wasn't even like a good dad before that. I'm gonna take this off. That's better. Uh, yeah. So like there was that whole thing, and it was just really great dynamic, of like just seeing like the two opposites of like because Judge actually in the anime looks a lot like Sanji. Of course, in the manga we don't have color, but he looks very very similar to him. So they're like these like dichotomy, very polar opposites, but then they end up kind of being on the same page, right? They trust Luffy like everyone does. But it is interesting because I wasn't really expecting Sanji to be coming from a group of assassins. Like that was kind of already unexpected. But this was just even more unexpected. I wasn't really expecting any of this, but it was a welcome surprise. And then there was the whole pudding thing. So Luffy and Chopper, of course. There's like this border. It's a cute scene, to be honest. Like as a man, you're not really supposed to ever say things cute, but when when Luffy is like he's like walking and you can hear his sandals and he's like, "Come on, Chopper, let's go!" And like, and then Chopper's like, "Oh no, wait up, Luffy!" And then he's got his little antler feet that like aren't really effective, and you can hear that little chopper noise. That was really it was a really sweet thing. And then they just eat Pudding's house, and then they eat this other like sweet thing, and then like it's like, oh, okay, so Pudding's a good girl, you know, she's, you know, nice. Brooke even says that, and it's like Brooke was saying it too much, so I kind of figured that, you know, something bad was gonna happen there. And I really love the dynamic between Pedro and Brooke. I mean, my gosh, Brooke was already the MVP like in the first half of this whole cake thing. So he like him and Pedro are like, no, we're gonna go for the poneglyphs, like straight up, we're going for the poneglyphs, right? And it was cool that Jinbei was there because it was kind of unclear what his business was in Fisherman Island. But I think I never finished that second part, so I didn't really get to say what I was going to say about the Big Mom and Jinbei thing. But what I was going to say was that Jinbei, in that video, I was going to say that I think he went back to wherever Big Mom was, and sure enough. And then we get Big Mom, which is just Shrek in disguise. I mean, she's just such an ogre, you know, like she doesn't do anything. She all she does like is eat. Like I know that she's an emperor and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I was understanding more of what her character was like in her flashback. Like it was so much trauma that she didn't move forward. You know, like Law. Like the only thing Law could do was move forward, and now he's like, oh, okay. Like if Kaido gets taken down, and like, you know, for example, like Law's personality. If he actually takes down Kaido, right, or helps down, and he doesn't die, then I feel like he'd be like, I don't know what I don't know, like I don't, okay, that, like if Luffy actually said, hey, do you want to like keep going with me? He'd probably be like, all right, Straw Hat, yeah, like it's just very confusing, you know, and Big Mom, you know, she had so much trauma, right, that, you know, it just mentally changed like her to the point where she couldn't move forward. You know, she couldn't. You know, she just couldn't move forward. She had to be um, a child, you know, for the rest of her life, which is a really shitty way to go. You know, like can't move forward. You're like stuck. It's like a Peter Pan syndrome kind of thing. So I kind of didn't understand that, but then she like ate those kids. So, you know, we'll get into that second part. Um, and also, there's a lot of information about devil fruits we didn't know before. But then we get to the part, kind of like the climax, I guess, to where you know, the whole Vinsmoke thing. So then Sanji's kind of like stuck, like, okay, well, I'm the prince, blah blah blah, like da da da. Like I guess I'll just have to go along with this, you know. And then he meets Pudding, and he falls in love with her. And Pudding, we already know she's a good girl. Brooke, Brooke is literally fighting Big Mom as we speak, and I'm like, what? Like, can you like the events that are going on, right? And then there was this whole like scene. There's like a really crappy couple of chapters where they're in the woods and they're just, you know, Luffy and them are just messing around in the woods, and like it's just like that over and over and over again. And Brulee's technique is really interesting. I think she has a very powerful devil fruit with the mirror mirror. I like that one a lot. To be honest, it's like the Kamui, because you go into this dimension like the mirror world. Great setting. Um, so yeah, there's that, and that was really great. Really great setting, to be honest. I think that's where Katakuri and them from the manga. I remember that was kind of where they fought somewhere. That kind of looked like that, but yeah. I'd like to know more about Katakuri too, because I've only seen him in that one fight. Didn't really get to see him talk before. That was all in French, so that wasn't really useful either. Um, yeah, so it was pretty impactful to that point. But then we got to this point, right, where Luffy goes head on with Cracker, which was like unexpected after they got out of the seducing woods, and then the Vivri card. I mean, I knew that Lola was like Big Mom's like relative as soon as I saw all the Big Mom's children, especially Chiffon, like later, like that's so clear. Like she's got too many kids. Like I cannot name all of them. Mont Dor I remember because he's got that book ability that's actually pretty OP. And beyond that, I don't even remember a lot of the other kids. There's Smooth, the commander, Smoothie, Cracker, Katakuri, and Bobbin. Remember him. Um, yeah, a lot of them don't just stick in your mind at all, you know. Anyways, so after all that, like Luffy, he fights with this guy for I think it was 3 days or like 24 hours or 2 days. I don't know. Whatever it was like it was a couple of days, right? He's fighting with Cracker while Sanji falls in love with Pudding. That whole thing, and so now he's kind of going in this carriage. So it's like it's setting up, right? So he's going with the carriage this way, and Luffy's like fighting with this way. So they're actually bound to meet each other, which I was not expecting them to meet each other. I could not have predicted that. That was pretty amazing. Actually, I thought he would have to save like a Nico Robin kind of thing, and it's like, oh, you know. But I love how when he was fighting Cracker, like Nami's actually helping, and then she actually said Luffy's going to become king of the pirates, which now I think the only people left that haven't said it is like maybe Robin and Frank. I think Frankie hasn't said it, so I think it's the people from Enies Lobby that haven't said it. Um, but yeah, you know, anytime a character says that, that's a pretty poignant moment and a pretty cool one. And so Cracker's like ability was getting just destroyed. Like Luffy was just chowing down, eating, and then he gets this Tank Man thing. And I thought Tank Man would do something more, but it was stuffed version, so I'm expecting there to be more to Tank Man. Um, yeah, and so then after a while, we end up seeing like, you know, this confrontation, and he's like, he doesn't have the hat on anymore, and he's like, Sanjay, you know, and then it's like, you know, towards the end of this speech, that's just a really like he's saying like, you know, every time you hit me, like you're the one that actually is hurt and all that stuff. And there's a lot of great moments from that speech. But then like all of a sudden when when you I think towards the end of the speech when he says Odewa, like, you know, like the actual the Japanese version, he says Odewa, and he goes, you know, I can't become king of the pirates, and like his voice cracks. Like the voice acting was phenomenal. That was one of the best animated scenes I've ever seen. Like I cried in both the anime and the manga scenes. So that was pretty crazy. Um, so yeah, I would say it's by far one of the best arcs already. Um, I'm on chapter 868. 868. Um, so I got a ways because I think it ends in chapter 902. So you know, I'll be doing the rest of the parts of the Tea Party and all that. But you know, to the point where I think it's a good stopping point with the speech. It's a really just amazing